You are with Thriving After 50 because your best decade are not behind you. The Fall of the Winchesters. A cautionary tale for every loving parent. Thomas Winchester rubbed the back of his stiff neck, the skin leathery from years of hard work under the sun. At 60, he walked with a slight limp, a memento from a roofing job in '98. His hands were calloused, veins raised like ridges, but they had always been strong, steady hands, provider's hands. His wife, Linda Winchester, 55, had crow's feet that deepened whenever she smiled, which was often. But lately, her smiles came less and less. Her once shiny auburn hair was now streaked with gray, tied back into a tight bun more out of habit than pride. Their home was modest, a pale blue bungalow with a garden she'd tended for over 2 decades. But now the roses had dried up and the lawn was patchy. Episode 1. The Ask. Brian stood in their living room, newly married and full of ambition. At 30, he had his father's eyes but none of his grit. Dad, Mom. He began, pacing the carpet with nervous energy. We found the perfect house. It's in Lakeside Hills. 4 bedrooms. A pool. It's everything we dreamed of. Thomas looked at his son, brows furrowed. That sounds expensive. Brian smiled weakly. It is, but if you could just help with the down payment, we'd be set. I promise I'll pay you back. We're family, right? Linda's eyes glistened. Of course, sweetheart. Of course we'll help. Thomas didn't speak for a long moment. He rubbed his temples, sighed, and nodded. Episode 2. Everything they had. They mortgaged the house, took out the retirement savings, sold off Linda's mother's antique china set, even borrowed against Thomas's life insurance policy. I just want him to have what we never had, Linda whispered one night. But at what cost? Thomas replied, staring at the loan papers on the kitchen table. His voice was low, tired. Episode 3. Ghosted. The housewarming party was grand. Brian gave him a brief hug before disappearing into crowd. His new wife, Ashley, barely made eye contact. Weeks passed. Linda called. Voicemail. Thomas texted. No reply. Maybe they're just settling in, she said, folding laundry with trembling hands. Episode 4. The Visit. One Saturday, they drove over unannounced. Thomas knocked. Linda held a Tupperware of lasagna, her hands shaking slightly. The porch light flickered above them. Ashley answered the door. Oh, hi. Is Brian home? Linda asked, smiling hopefully. Ashley crossed her arms. He's busy. Brian appeared behind her. He looked annoyed. Dad, Mom, you can't just drop by. We're busy. Thomas frowned. Son, we need to talk. The mortgage. I told you it wasn't a loan, Brian interrupted, glancing nervously toward the house. Can you guys just leave, please? Linda's lip quivered. Her hands clutched the Tupperware like a lifeline. Thomas's shoulders sagged. They turned and walked away in silence. The lasagna fell from Linda's hands as they reached the car. She didn't bother picking it up. Episode 5. Humiliation by Law. 2 weeks later, they tried again just to talk. They sat in their car outside Brian's house for nearly an hour. A police cruiser pulled up. Sir, you've been asked to leave this property. Thomas's jaw clenched. We're his parents. The officer's eyes softened but stayed firm. That may be, but they don't want you here. Linda's tears streamed silently as Thomas pulled out of the driveway. Episode 6. Desperation Work. Back home, the bills piled high. The mortgage gnawed at their sanity. Thomas got a job at a hardware store. First day, his back gave out trying to lift a pallet. He sat on a crate, breathing heavily, sweat pouring down his forehead. One of the younger guys snickered. You all right there, Grandpa? At lunch, Thomas sat alone. He opened his lunchbox, 2 boiled eggs, and a slice of bread. Across town, Linda scoured job ads. Her resume, decades out of date, barely caught any attention. She finally got a job, cleaning tables at a mid-tier restaurant. On her first day, she slipped on a wet tile. No one helped her up. Her uniform was 2 sizes too large and smelled faintly of bleach. Her supervisor barked at her for being too slow. One evening, while wiping down tables, she heard a familiar voice, Brian. She turned and saw him laughing with co-workers at table 7. She stood frozen, rag in hand, her knees weak. Their eyes met. Brian looked away, didn't nod, didn't blink, didn't acknowledge her. Linda ran to the back room and sobbed until her nose bled. Episode 7, Breaking Point. Thomas came home one night and found Linda staring at an empty dinner plate. "Did you eat?" he asked. She didn't respond. He sat beside her, took her hand. Callous met calloused. "I thought we raised a good man," he whispered. "So did I," she replied, tears forming. Episode 8, Rebirth. They sold the house, moved into a small apartment with peeling paint and squeaky floorboards, but it was theirs. Debt-free, Thomas started fixing appliances for neighbors. Word spread. He charged little but always showed up. Linda joined a seniors crochet circle and started selling handmade quilts on Etsy. One day, they were invited to speak at a seniors event at the local library. Linda stood on stage, voice trembling but strong. "We gave everything to our son, love, money, shelter, but we forgot to save anything for ourselves. We assumed love would be enough. It wasn't." Thomas took the mic. "Don't wait until you're 60 to learn how to say no. Protect your future. Teach your kids responsibility. You can love them without destroying yourself." Final lessons for viewers over 50. 1. Never mortgage your home for anyone without a legally binding agreement, even your kids. 2. Don't raise children who expect you to sacrifice everything. Raise children who want to build on your sacrifices, not stand on them. 3. It's okay to say no. It's not cruel, it's wise. 4. Teach financial literacy and independence. Don't fund lifestyles your children can't sustain themselves. 5. Stay updated. Join senior support networks. Learn about financial planning, wills, scams, and investments. 6. Minimalism is powerful. A small, debt-free life is richer than a big, borrowed one. 7. It's never too late to start again. Not at 55, not at 60, not even at 70. For every parent watching this, love your children deeply, but never more than you love your own future. Protect your peace, and never stop thriving, no matter your age. If you're finding this content valuable, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel for more insights like this. We also encourage you to leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. And if you're enjoying the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.